Yeah, I just decided that I wanted to do that at the time. I was a tennis player my entire life, played in college.
Okay.
And then after college was done, I coached for 1 year at my alma mater, and then went out to LA and just had a dream of working on movies. And got into accounting, worked for more than just 20th Century Fox, worked for Lionsgate, worked on the Hunger Games, Mockingjay Part 1 and 2. Yeah,
really?
So I mean, it was a different life.
Hey everyone, you're listening to the Lively Charleston Podcast. Our goal with this show is to interact and tell the stories of the amazing people, places, and businesses that make Charleston the best city in the world.
If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube.
Also, make sure to check us out on Instagram and Facebook, where we drop regular content throughout the week. Awesome. So, Dan Levine with Crush Yard. You are you're the head pro at Crush Yard, the man in charge, the man that's going to be running the show here. Thank you so much for taking a little bit of time out of your, I'm sure, very busy schedule as you guys are getting ready to open. Just come hang out with us and chat a little bit.
I appreciate it, Jeremy.
Awesome, man. So we have a lot to talk about. We have pickleball. It's apparently the fastest growing sport in the country. It's kind of, we got celebrities playing. We got people, everybody all over Charleston's playing. You go to any public park or tennis court, basically throughout all spring and summer, it's packed with pickleball players. So we have a lot to talk about. Some people probably don't even know what this game is, so we're gonna catch them up a little bit. But let's kind of take it back.
Yeah.
I want to talk about you a little bit and your story. I understand you're pretty new to Charleston.
Very new. Been here for 6 months.
6 months. Yep. Okay. Well, welcome officially to Charleston. What do you think so far?
So far, I'm enjoying it. I appreciate the thanks, and I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. And where'd you come from?
So I'm coming from Florida.
Okay.
Down on Sanibel Island in Southwest Florida. Was there for almost 3.5 years.
Okay.
But I'm originally from New York.
New York.
Yep.
Okay. So where out of those three places, who has the best weather?
I haven't been here enough. I haven't experienced the spring, summer yet that everyone's talking about.
Just getting into it. Okay.
Yeah, so we'll see. It's a hard one. At Florida, I love warm weather, so I was very happy to be out of the cold.
Okay.
I've also lived in LA and Atlanta, so I've been kind of LA was
best
beautiful.
weather.
Yeah, I was about to say LA was pretty nice.
We're all playing for second place, basically. All right. Fair enough. Okay, so originally from New York.
Yep.
Sounds like you've traveled a bunch, East Coast, West Coast. Coming from Florida, and what were you doing down there?
So when I went down to Florida, I started teaching pickleball, became an IPTPA certified level 2 teaching pro, and I started my own business on Sanibel Island. I started with, honestly, a hopper, blew up a sign, and started with one client. And next thing I knew, I did my certification with Kyle Yates, who was the original GOAT of pickleball.
Okay.
Professional player, and it was a great guy. And once I got certified, like I said, I started with one client. Next thing I know, I had over 100 clients on Sanibel Island.
Really?
Yeah, it was. I mean, Southwest Florida blew up before everywhere else. Like, It's unreal down there.
100 clients. Is this like private lessons?
Private lessons, semi-privates. 3 classes, 4-person classes, and then even up to 8 people. Sometimes I did. And then there's a resort down there called South Seas Resort on Captiva Island. I brought pickleball to South Seas Resort. They had never had it before, so we got some courts there.
Oh wow!
Started teaching there. Next thing I knew, Sanibel Island hired me as their head pro for the island. So I had my own individual business. I had Sanibel Island. I had South Seas Resort. And then I was in Fort Myers at one country club. So I ended up having to hire 2 of my good buddies, who were, one of them was my doubles partner. The other guy was a training partner. I hired them as my assistant pros. So we rotated and we ran all of that down in Southwest Florida.
Man, so you had a whole like a pickleball cartel going on down there. That's like a whole operation. That's wild.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you gave all that up to move here to Charleston.
I did.
Must have been a hell of an opportunity.
Yeah. I'm very excited for this opportunity. Crush Yard, I met our CEO randomly when I was here. Just connections, you never know who you meet, these days. And he told me his vision for this Pickleball Club and Restaurant that's going to be opening up this spring, summer in Mount Pleasant. And I just saw his vision, and it just brought a lot of excitement. And at the same time, I'd never been to Charleston, heard a lot of cool things about it, and was like, hey, let's give it a shot.
That is awesome, man. That is awesome. Okay, so we're going to talk about Crush Yard here.
Okay.
Let's take... Let's go back on your story a little bit, actually, before we get into what pickleball is. One thing that you mentioned that I thought was really cool was that you used to be, before you were the pickleball pro, you were an accountant for Century or 20th Century Fox, like the TV, the movie production studio, out in LA.
Yeah, so I have a big like family legacy back from my mom's dad was a producer. He was a producer on one of the producers of The Godfather, Scrooge, some big movies. Yeah, my uncles were very big higher ups in the industry. My aunt, big time producer. Tons of family history there. And I studied accounting and film in college. After I actually originally went for a sports media degree, and then I switched degrees halfway through. Like a lot of people
everyone
do,
switches
right?
their degree at least once. Yeah.
But I just decided that I wanted to do that at the time. I was a tennis player my entire life. Played in college,
Okay.
and then after college was done. I coached for 1 year at my alma mater, and then went out to LA and just had a dream of working on movies. And got into accounting. Worked for more than just 20th Century Fox. Worked for Lionsgate. Worked on the Hunger Games, Mockingjay Part 1 and 2. Yeah,
really?
So I mean, it was a different life. Like that was a 5-year period where I was just grinding out in LA, and then I went to Boston, Atlanta.
Were you ever like on set, or was it all your stuff like behind the scenes?
So I would go to set probably twice a week. I'd get to see a lot of what was going on because you got to know what you're paying for. You got to know everything, all the equipment that you're paying for, and also you want to see things, meet people.
Yeah,
and,
of
you
course.
meet the movie stars, and that's a cool thing. Sit down with them and go over these things, and it was cool.
That's wild. I'm fascinated by, especially as I've kind of gone through my journey as an entrepreneur, I'm fascinated by business models, right? So everything, even Crush Yard, like I'm always thinking on the back end of like, I wonder what their margins are, like what's their break-even point, like all that stuff. But I've always been really fascinated by Hollywood, which I know absolutely nothing about, and just the finances of it. And all people think is like, oh, movie stars are just like, everyone's super rich and it's glamorous, and it's, I know that's true to a degree, for like the very top people, but for a lot of people, it's not all glam and money. Like it definitely can be a grind.
I mean, 100%. You just said it. Like, for the top and all the movie stars, it is glam and it is a lifestyle, and they reap the success, like the benefits of hard work. But it's very cool for them. But there's a lot of people. Listen, when I first started out, I couldn't get into accounting on the first movie I worked on. I worked in visual effects as a production assistant, which everyone knows what a production assistant means in LA. Means that you're just getting coffees and groceries and laundry, and you're doing whatever anyone needs you to do, and you're getting paid nothing. Like you're getting like minimum wage just because you want to be in the industry.
Yep.
And it's a grind, and you got to have that mindset that it's going to pay off. It did. I became a second assistant accountant on these big movies, and I loved it. And I had picked up pickleball, in Atlanta when I was actually on a movie there. On the side, it was a hobby, just like when I go to the gym, I enjoy the gym, but it was like something I hadn't played tennis in a long time because I blew out my shoulder in college, my senior year. And I fell in love with pickleball because I couldn't play tennis anymore, and I had no pain. It was different. Most of the game is played from the chest down. I mean, there are overheads, but it's just a different level of torque.
Yep.
Didn't have any pain with my rotator cuff, and it was crazy. And I found that passion again on court. And if you would have told me that I was going to switch careers from being an accountant on movies and to being a director of pickleball head pro for or before that, starting my own business down in Florida, I would have laughed because I never would have thought that. But it's entrepreneurship, right?
And here we are.
Here we are. Now I'm with you in a studio, and it's cool.
So let's go ahead and make that transition. So you were a tennis player in college. Mm-hmm. That's a pretty nice skills transfer over to pickleball, right? You can bring a lot of that with you. So let's talk about pickleball a little bit, for maybe some people that don't know what it is, or kind of let's kind of get everybody caught up.
So, pickleball's been around since 1965. It's been it's been around forever. But no one, it was in a lot of people, not everyone, but a lot of people played it in gym class, like wooden paddles. The game has evolved. Yeah. Like now we have honeycomb polymer paddles for the top pros are using carbon paddles, all these different types of paddles that help with spins and pace and all these things. Yeah. But yeah, pickleball is it's the best way I can describe it to people that haven't played, because there are a lot of people that I always say come out and play and just give it a try. I know the name is to a lot of people that go, what is pickleball? Because I had that feeling too. My dad, I'll never forget, called me. The first time I ever played was not in Atlanta. That was when I was the hobby. But the first time I played was in Southwest Florida. I was visiting my parents who were retired down there. Or semi-retired. But my dad was like, come on, I love this game called pickleball. You got to play it. And I was like, it sounds like an old person's game.
Right.
It does.
Right.
So, and you hear it in the name. And then I got out there, and I'll never forget, I was a high-level college tennis player, and I got my, kicked the first time on court by a couple that was in their 70s. And I was like, well, I don't understand this game. And it made me want to learn it. And the best thing about pickleball is you can play it from when you're young. You know, I have clients that I taught that are 8 years old, 9 years old, all the way up to 90.
Yeah.
So you can play you can truly play this your whole life. And pickleball it really is like genderless. Like tennis, you know, when I played, I'm not saying female athletes in tennis aren't amazing, but there's a difference in like the top male pros versus like female pros. Like there's a big difference.
Because having a strength and a speed advantage goes different. A long way.
I mean, Serena Williams tells a story back when she was 18 years old. She played a guy who was a 400 and something in the world, and she lost 6-0. And Serena and her sister played him, or she lost 6-1, and Venus lost 6-0. And that guy's 400 something in the world, and Serena Williams is the GOAT. You know, So it's different. In pickleball, you got the top women can play with the men.
Level playing field.
Yeah, it's a level playing field. I mean, maybe there's some differences, of course, in a little bit, but. You know, I mean, pickleball is basically, honestly, it's a mix of like ping pong, tennis, badminton, like those skills. You know, it's all on a small court.
Yep.
So. And
then, with pickleball, you can play singles or doubles.
Yep.
Right. And the court, it's a little bit smaller than a tennis court. Is that right?
Yeah, much smaller.
Okay.
You really need like 30 by 60. It's smaller than that, but like that's like the kind of like the dimensions of like how much space you truly need to be able to, you know, have the space on the sides and then the back to be able to play. But that's a lot. It's a lot smaller than a tennis court.
Okay. And then the ball, it's not quite a wiffle ball, but it's pretty close, right?
It's like a wiffle ball, but it's not.
Okay.
It's hard to describe a pickleball, but it's you know, it's hard. Like you don't want to get hit with it. I always say I tell all my clients like the biggest thing I tell them is you always have to have your paddle up. Like there's like you never want to get hit in the face. There's like one spot you don't want to get hit.
Absolutely.
Like,
it's hard enough to leave a mark.
Like it will leave a mark, especially when you start playing higher levels. Like I get you know, you call it a body. People call it a body bag in like the higher levels. Like you know, you want to bag someone, but like
if someone's like really getting on your nerves, you're trying to tag.
You want to tag them for sure. Like, but I mean, it's slow when you're playing slower. It's not. Then there's no pain because it's not obviously the same. Sure. But like it's good.
As a disclaimer, I've probably played 24 times. I've never gotten body bagged, so don't let that scare you.
Exactly.
Awesome. Okay, so you moved to Charleston about 6 months ago to take this opportunity to work with Crush Yard, which personally I've been seeing probably some of the funniest advertising I've ever seen. I love the ones where it's like it's pickleball talking to bowling and talking to tennis.
It's like the Dear John letters.
Yeah, it's like, hilarious.
Like Dear Golf.
yeah, like you had a great run or something. So the marketing's on point, the branding's on point. You guys come across as just like this cool, hip, fun place that you just want to be around.
Yeah, I mean, that's our goal. I mean, it's a 40,000 square foot plus facility. We're going to be a fun place, welcoming to everyone to come play. You know, it's not just pickleball. It's going to have elevated pub food. You know, we have an incredible chef and sous chef, Brandon Buck. He's our chef. He's been in Charleston for I think over 20 years, and
awesome.
He's done all the way up through fine dining, and he gave up what he did in fine dining to come be the chef for Crush Yard, and it's all scratch food. It's like,
oh wow,
yeah, his food is incredible.
That's why you say elevated.
It's not like when you go to like a bowling alley and you get food.
Right.
This is like elite food. It's very like I'm blessed. I get to do all the tastings. His food is absolutely incredible.
What a rough job.
Yeah, tough. But,
well, and out here in Charleston, we love our food. We're foodies out here. So that's a plus. That goes a long way.
So it's great food, and then obviously we have drinks too. It's a pour your own system. So you'll get a wristband, and you get to taste. It's we're gonna have 32 beers. 10 wines and 6 craft cocktails that we pre-made by our staff every day.
You could not have picked a better location for the first Crush Yard. Yeah. These are just all the things that we love to do here.
Yeah, right.
Just drink and eat.
Eat, and if you want to play pickleball, come play pickleball.
Yeah, play some. Yeah.
But if you don't play pickleball, like I tell everyone, come enjoy the atmosphere because it's going to be a fun place to go out and enjoy. It's going to be great food, fun, good drinks, and you get to try everything. And we have some cool partners. Like we partner with Holy City for our beer, a lot of our beers.
Very cool.
They're actually making our own beer that's just like they made for Crush Yard.
Very
and
cool.
And it's called Dinker's Delight. So that's a little take on pickleball.
Nice. Okay. All right.
Dink.
What kind of beer is it?
It's like a lighter side. It's very light. I don't know.
Like a lager.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
It's even lighter. Yeah.
It's pretty safe.
Yeah, it's safe.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. All right. Very good. Okay. So what will the environment be like? Like I'm imagining Friday and Saturday night? Will there be, music bumping and everyone's playing pickleball and drinking, or like?
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely gonna have music going.
Okay.
I'm sure the weekends will be a lot different vibe than the weekdays. I mean, obviously, like, we're gonna have music on the weekends. Like, people are gonna. It's a restaurant. People. It's not a bar, but people are there to enjoy, have drinks, have food, and they're not there only to play pickleball.
Sure.
They're there just to enjoy the environment. It's very family friendly. I'm sure we'll have lots of families Mount Pleasant coming, wanting to hang out. I mean, it's going to be a very laid back place that people want to go, just be like, hey, let's go to Crush Yard. Let's go enjoy and just have a good time. And then
Absolutely.
You want to have drinks and you want to get on court, be safe, but, have a little fun, have date night, just like going to, people like, compare, I've been asked this comparison, like with Top Golf. It's not the same, but like you can go with, 4 couples and go enjoy and like go get a court and have some food and drinks. And
Absolutely. So how does it work then? Is it membership based, or do you just reserve it online, or like if somebody wants to go, like how does that work?
Absolutely. So we're open 7 days a week. We're open 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. So from 5 a.m. to 11 a.m. it's members only. So we're gonna have 2 different membership options. We're gonna have a Crush Yard membership and a Crush membership and a Yard membership.
Okay.
The Crush membership will give access to anyone that's a diehard the pickleballers that want to play pickleball, and they can come in from 5 to 11 and they can play open play, which is very welcoming to a lot of people because you can mix in and meet a lot of people. It's a very social environment, which is cool. And then from 11 to 11, that's open to the public. That's when the public can get in there. The Yard membership is for people that don't play pickleball but want to come to Crush Yard a lot. They want to enjoy the environment, right? That's $7, $7.45 a month, I think it is.
Okay.
And it's unlimited soft drinks. We partnered with a coffee brand called One Nation, which is in Charleston. They're making us our own Crush Yard coffees.
Nice.
So that's exciting, and so you can get unlimited coffee for $7.45 a month. Stopping there every day.
Oh, that's cool. So
right?
Do you imagine? Like in the mornings and maybe moving into the early afternoon, like people coming in and working there, bringing a laptop and posting up?
100%. We're gonna have great food. Why not? Like you get free coffee if you pay $7.45 a month. Soft drinks.
Play a little pickleball. Head into the office. All right, that's not a bad gig.
Exactly.
Now, will there be? Is there like locker room showers, that sort of thing?
No locker room or showers.
Okay.
As I know, that's a lot of people have asked that. Not in this location. We'll see it. Future locations maybe, but that's not the model we went with for this.
Gotcha. Yeah, fair enough. Very cool. Very cool. Okay, so we talked about memberships. Will you guys teach private lessons?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So I'll be running, I'm going to run weekly classes. So I'll be doing an intro to pickleball for anyone that wants to learn the game. We'll be doing, it'll be a scheduled day where, a couple days where we do, intro to pickleball classes. We'll be doing, whether it's called a day dinking class or a dinking with Dan, which I had down in Florida. That was one of my things where we focus on the kitchen play and learning the game up there. We'll be running those classes, and then private lessons. People want to do their own with someone else. You and your girlfriend, right?
Yeah.
You guys want to learn together and get a little better at the game. You do a semi-private lesson together, or you can do 3, you can do 4.
Okay.
And then we're also gonna be running tournaments. We'll be running league play for our members, so that's a benefit.
Nice.
So the perks of being a member, you get free league play, which I'll be coordinating all the leagues.
Doubles, singles, both?
Probably just doubles in the beginning.
Okay.
In the beginning, we won't start with any league play because you have to, to run a league, you have to have equal teams and all that kind of stuff, and we need to figure out ratings. So we're partnering with Duper, which is the Dynamic Universal Pickleball Rating. They're the biggest pickleball rating in the world right now, the pickleball rating. Everything will be going through a Crush Yard app, which we will have.
Okay.
And you'll record your matches and you'll get a Duper rating. That's how you'll get ratings. And once you get ratings, then we'll start having league play.
Okay.
So we'll have leagues, we'll have tournaments.
So that's like, if I want to know how good you are, I'll say, what's your Duper?
What's your Duper?
Gotcha.
And you're Duper. And it's like, you just record it every day. Every time you play, just it's very simple. It takes 2 seconds to put in, and then it's an algorithm that Duper has, and it just updates your Duper.
Okay.
And you'll see where you're at, whether you're a beginner, an advanced beginner, intermediate, and maybe you'll be advanced, maybe you'll be a pro, right?
And then, so as the rankings start to kind of take shape, if you and I were to play, so what's your Duper?
About a 5.
5, all right. Yeah. And a 5, I've played a dozen times, and I'm like, kind of whatever, what would I probably be? Like a 1?
Everyone, the lowest is going to be like a 1.
Okay.
It just depends on results too.
Sure, fair enough.
When you're a beginner, the before Duper was a thing, like it was like a 1-0 to a 2-5 player is beginner to advanced beginner.
Okay.
And then once you're above a 2-5, like you hit 3-0, it's like then you're intermediate range.
Okay.
So 3-0 to 4-0 is intermediate range, and 4-5 up is an advanced player.
Okay, fair. So I would think I'm probably like a 2. My girlfriend would probably say I'm like a 1.5 because she always yells at me when we play.
This is why it's great. This is why Duper is going to be great, because then you get to see what are you actually. You get a little competition going with your girlfriend and see who's got the higher Duper.
Man, you need to be careful because pickleball can cause fights. You'd be like getting on each other about that shot or whatever. Yeah. Okay, so as the rankings start to take shape, let's say I'm a 1-5 and we played. This will probably never happen, but I just get absolutely lucky and you have the flu and I beat you. So it'll know like, oh, you beat a 5, so boom, you're shooting.
The algorithm goes based on who you're playing, so you don't you're not going to get hurt by playing someone that's way higher than you.
Yeah.
It's not like it hurts you. It only can hurt them.
It can only hurt. Like Floyd Mayweather here. Like there's not really much upside here for the pro.
For sure.
Too funny. Okay.
But and then we're also gonna be running. We'll be running camps We'll be doing summer camps for kids for sure. That'll be a cool thing, and we'll also do adult camps, which I used to do down in Southwest Florida. We'll have me. And then a few other people that we can get into that are going to be helping me out with Crush Yard, and we'll be running camps for adults, 2-day, 3-day camps, and it'll be very exciting.
Hey everyone, I hope you're enjoying the video so far. At Lively Charleston, not only do we love talking about all the amazing things there are to see and do in our awesome city, but we also love helping our clients buy, sell, and invest in Charleston real estate. If you would like to learn more about the Charleston real estate market, feel free to give us a call or shoot us an email. We'd be more than happy to help you strategize and create a game plan that will be sure to help you hit your real estate goals. And now, back to the video.
Very cool. Very cool. So, one thing that I didn't realize was how big the pickleball community is here in Charleston. Like, apparently, it has just exploded. There's pros all over the place. I guess you've been getting contacted by a bunch of people that want to be involved in the project.
Yeah, absolutely. Pickleball's exploding everywhere and all over the country, but Charleston, all of a sudden, like since I've been here, I see it, the growth. I mean, you go down to Collins Park, or it's insane. Like you have to wait for courts, and there's no obvious. It's just like, and then you gotta get off right away, and it's busy. But yeah, there are 3 legitimate top pro players, top 50 in the world right now that live in Charleston. And we just signed 2 of them that are officially going to be brand ambassadors.
That's wild.
Yeah, Greg Dow and Anderson Scarpa. So they're going to be involved with Crush Yard. Okay. So they're going to be doing, lessons at Crush Yard once in a while. They'll be doing some exhibitions with me. And then we're going to run camps. And we also, our chief brand ambassador is the pickleball coach to the stars, who lives out in LA. His name is Matt Manassi.
Nice.
And he's the coach out there for Doug Ellen, who was the producer of Entourage. Emma Watson, very good friends with her.
That's wild.
He's on a show called Pickle with Stephen Colbert. So he has a very big clientele out there. His title is Pickleball Coach of the Stars. So he'll be in Charleston a lot. So we're going to be doing camps, me, him, Dow, and Scarpa. We'll be doing lessons all together, all these things. So you'll have a lot of very high level people to learn from, and then just have a good time.
That sounds awesome. And also, word on the streets, I don't know if it's a rumor or what, but I heard Rob Gronkowski is involved with this somehow.
Yeah, not a rumor anymore. We can officially...
Can we confirm that?
We can confirm that.
Nice.
So Rob and all his brothers and his parents are all involved and invested into this company. They are also ambassadors. I've been in talks with his brother, Gordy, quite a bit. Gordy is a diehard pickleball player. He's a good guy.
Who's the best player in the family?
That's a good question. I'm going to have to ask them. I don't know who the
Probably
best
depends
player.
who you ask.
Yeah, right? Yeah, it is. They are very competitive.
Yeah.
I think 5 of the 6, I think there's 6, I believe, played football. I think Gordy actually said he was the only one that didn't play football.
Really?
But he might probably watch.
He's probably the best one.
He probably wants that on there.
Yeah. He's like, I gotta have one of these.
Yeah, but they love pickleball, and they're very excited for Crush Yard. So hopefully, we'll be seeing them, the entire Gronk family.
Oh man, that'll be
especially
awesome.
at the opening, and coming through to Crush Yards and. It's
that'll be awesome.
And then we also have AJ Green, who's a local native in Charleston.
Yeah.
I think he lives in Somerville, or he's from there. Maybe he doesn't live there, but he's from there. I could be misquoting that. I think that's where he's from.
You talking about AJ Green from the Eagles?
That's AJ Brown.
Oh, you're right.
AJ Green was a receiver, Hall of Fame receiver on the Bengals.
The Bengals. That's right. That's right.
I think he may have just retired. I could be wrong.
No, I think you're right. Yeah, he was a stud.
He was a stud.
Absolutely.
But he's an ambassador with Crush Yard. And we also have Brian Dawkins, speaking of Eagles.
Oh, sweet.
Hall of Fame safety. Man,
you got all the big names involved.
Got a lot of people involved.
Very cool.
So it's cool.
Quick, what can you tell people about what you know about possible grand opening date?
Yeah, I mean, everyone asks, this is the giant question I get asked, and I get it. Like, everyone wants this to happen. I want it, and so does our team want this. We work very hard to get this place open. There's a lot that goes into it. We want to make sure it's perfect for everybody. You know, we want to open, and this place is like, everyone's so excited. Rocking and rolling. We're looking, hopefully spring, summer this year. That's the goal.
Cool. All right. So hopefully at some point in the next few months.
Yeah, exactly. We're not far off. We're in March now. So
stay ready.
Yep.
Okay. Got a couple kind of rapid fire fun questions for you if you're up for it.
Let's do it.
What do you say?
Okay.
All right. So if you had to choose one of the following, it's funny because you kind of mentioned this earlier, but if you had to choose one of the following to describe pickleball, and this was it, this is the message that had to go on all the marketing, would you say athletic ping pong or not quite as athletic tennis?
That's a tough one.
Which one more accurately describes?
Athletic ping pong.
Athletic ping pong?
I would say athletic ping pong.
All right.
It's you still have to be athletic. You still have to be athletic to play.
Especially in singles.
In singles. I mean, now, I don't want to deter any non-quote-unquote athletes. Like, you can still play the game and have a good time if you're not a high-level athlete.
For sure.
100%. It's a very social game, and that's what drew me to pickleball, is that I realized I could get my mom, who's like, my dad is a super competitive guy. Entrepreneur himself, started his own business, CEO of a company, right? And,
awesome.
loves everything. He's very, type A guy.
Yeah.
My mom's this laid back, non-athletic person, and she loves pickleball.
Yeah.
And she doesn't play competitive. She just goes out there because it's social, and she gets to go out with her friends and just enjoy being on court. She's still a beginner after all the years in the rating level, but and she never wants to get better than that. But it's easy. It's a game that it's welcoming to everyone.
But you're out there having fun. It's movement. It's body movement, right?
Yes, and you get to work out. 100%.
Yeah,
it's good for you. But athletic ping pong.
I love it. All right, I put you on the spot with that one.
Athletic ping pong.
All right, fair enough. Okay, your dream pickleball matchup, you plus any 3 players in the world.
In the entire world.
Who are you going? Who's your partner, and then who are you playing against?
Oof. Am I trying to win? Or is it just like...
So good question. You could go like pickleball pros, or you could go like celebrities and like.
If we're going to like play like to win and like we're doing pro players, like pro versus pros, like.
Okay.
I mean, there's one guy in the world who's the GOAT right now. It's Ben Johns. Like, he's the best player in the world. Ben Johns. He's the best player in the world by a country mile.
Really? What makes him the best?
He's just better at everything than everyone else. Okay. Literally.
I guess
it's as simple as that. He's better than
he
wins every tournament pretty much.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and he's actually doubles partners with his brother.
Okay.
But if I had to pick like a pro, I'd be with him.
Okay.
I'd probably play the second best guys in the world because they're just unreal to watch, like Riley Newman and Matt Wright. But if we're talking about people that don't follow pickleball, and we're talking about like celebrities and people to have fun with,
let's go with that.
Let's go with fun. I'm gonna say Gronk, which I'm excited to get on court with him.
Nice.
Like, I'm very excited to get with Rob, and of course all the other Gronk brothers, but like of course Rob, like right. I think it'd be cool to like get some NBA guys on the court. I'd love to see like what a basketball player could do in pickleball. Just the height, the elevation they could jump. So like I know LeBron James and Kevin Durant are investors in Major League Pickleball. So maybe like Gronk, LeBron, and Durant on a court.
That'd be a hell of a team.
I'll take Gronk.
And he's your partner?
Yeah, I'll take Gronk.
Nice. Could you, back to your first matchup, would you and Ben Johns beat the other 2 guys?
No.
Really?
Unless Ben played 95% of the court. They would target me.
Strategically.
Ben wouldn't touch the ball. They would be like, Ben, you're not touching the ball. This guy's getting every ball.
Fair.
Like, I mean, I'm a high-level amateur player, as I always say. I've played on the pro level, low level. I've played 5-0. They're like called 5-0 amateur tournaments. Done very well in those. I played 1 professional tournament. I got 2 wins.
Nice.
Yep, but
got him on the resume.
But I'm not a I would never say to anyone that I'm a professional pickleball player. I have played, and I could play. It's not like I can't hit with them, but there's a different level. This is what they do for a living.
Sure. And it's funny because my sport growing up was volleyball, and so I played a ton of doubles volleyball, grass and sand, and that was always kind of the same strategy. It'd be like, depends on who you're partnered with, but there's usually like a clear target on the court.
100%.
And then that usually determines who wins.
Absolutely.
Okay, moving on to our next our next question here. So we talked about your dream pickleball matchup. Would you rather? Well, let me ask you this: who's the tennis goat?
Who's the tennis goat?
Who's the tennis goat?
I'm a big Roger Federer guy.
Question,
but right now, I mean, it's going to be Novak Djokovic.
It's got to go with him.
It's going to be the goat. Yeah.
It's tough, man. Because Federer had it for a bit,
and then Nadal took it. If you talk about majors, right? That's the hard. A lot of people talk about who got the most majors, and it was always Federer and Nadal, and then all of a sudden Djokovic came out of nowhere, and then now he's going to win the most majors. Like, there's no doubt.
He has to, right?
He's going to. Yeah, he's definitely.
He might have already if it wasn't for some of these travel restrictions and stuff, right?
Travel restrictions, yeah.
It feels like Federer didn't have it long enough. Like he should have been the GOAT for a longer period of time.
Yeah. I mean, listen, there'll all be GOATs in my eyes, those three. They'll always be, it's hard. Like, you hear about Michael Jordan, people today in NBA, right? Michael Jordan, LeBron, people always compare, right? There's just
classic debate.
Classic debates. I just say, like, there's more than just one GOAT, truly.
Sure.
That's just the reality.
Well, it's cool because these guys actually played each other.
Yeah.
Right? Like in this conversation. Anyways, okay, so cool. So Joe, let's say Federer, you're a big Federer fan. Yeah. So would you rather?
Okay.
Would you rather play a charity tennis match against Roger Federer or play in the pickleball dream team that you just mentioned?
Oh, man, that's a tough
one. I know these are brutal. You didn't know these were coming.
No, I didn't know that was coming. Man, I grew up watching Roger. I mean, I'm sorry. I love pickleball. My CEO might be like, what are you talking about? I thought you were a pickleball guy. Like, it's definitely Federer.
Got to go with that.
First off, charity, you just said. So I get to give back to charity, which is always a great thing. But yeah, it's Roger Federer. Like, I can meet Ben Johns and those guys I mentioned on tour. No problem.
You'll run into them.
I'll run into them
once in a lifetime.
That's a once in a lifetime experience.
Fair enough. Yeah. Awesome, man. Thank you for playing our rapid fire random question game. Okay, one last question about pickleball, and then we'll kind of wrap up here. But what are some of the top skills that somebody kind of new to the game? What should they focus on if they want to start to improve at pickleball? Yeah,
absolutely. The game has evolved. It's getting very fast. So it's like very quick hands. But the game is the biggest thing I tell anyone that does like starting to play pickleball. The game is won at the kitchen, which is the area right outside the net. There's an area called the kitchen. That's the fun term. People call it the kitchen. It's actually called the non-volley zone, NVZ, because you can't volley in the kitchen, right? You can't volley in the non-volley zone, so people just like calling it the kitchen. But the biggest thing is get to the kitchen. At all costs, you need to get to the kitchen. Like if you can get to the kitchen,
which basically means get as close to the net as you can
without going in there because you can't volley in there.
Okay.
Just get there and have your hands up, and then it's just learning the basics of learning how to volley and learning a shot called the dink. If you can dink and volley in pickleball, you got a fighting chance.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, just quick hands and soft hands, as I always say, and it's practice for people that want to get really good. Thing about pickleball is very easy to learn. I say this to everyone. It's very easy to learn. I could get anyone that hasn't played pickleball, and I can get them enjoying in 2 hours and 2 lessons. They can go play with their friends and they can learn. It's very hard to master. There's a huge difference. It's very hard to master.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, and to your point too, like you said, the kitchen and learning how to dink, that's a touch. That's not it's not a power, it's not a speed move, it's not anything like that. Yeah. So back to your point about anybody can play.
Anyone can play.
And get pretty damn good.
Yeah, anyone can play. And you can get, most people get to an intermediate level. Especially if they take a couple lessons, they can get to intermediate level.
Yeah.
It's getting to that advanced level and mastering the game that takes years of practice and drilling, and it's just the same thing as any other sport.
Like anything you want to be good at,
any craft, anything you want to be good at podcasting, right? You got to practice.
Fair enough. Right. Who's the goat at podcasting?
You.
Oh, I knew it. Appreciate much love. Okay.
Lively Charleston, right?
Awesome, man. Beautiful. Okay, so if last couple questions, and then we'll wrap up here. So if you could go back in time to when you first started your business, which I guess was when you started teaching pickleball, and and then it kind of blew up from there. Go back to your old self and give some advice to younger Dan. What would you say to him?
Oh man, advice to younger self. Just tell him that be patient. In life in general, like things happen when they're supposed to happen. If you truly believe something, I had doubts, like a lot of people have doubts about whether, I don't want people to think that like things are always easy. Like it's not. Like I had many days where, I didn't teach. I was like, when I first started, I had one client, and it became, maybe I had 5 at a time, and I wasn't getting booked. And, you're just like, is this, it was a dream, because I was like, oh, maybe I can do this. And then I was like, am I failing? But one of my favorite, quotes, Michael Jordan said it in a commercial, but like, it's not him, but like, I've failed so many times, right? I failed over and over and over, and that's why I succeed. Yeah. And that's like the mentality I have every day, is like, you have to fail to be able to succeed. Yeah. And it's just willing to put yourself out there and believe and trust your process. And if you really believe in it, I think you can do it. Like, that's true. I know that sounds like cliche, but like, that's the reality. I mean, that's how I did it. I mean, I believed in myself every day. I woke up every day with a passion for what I wanted to do. And I would tell myself to just, follow that.
Yeah. I love it, man. I love it, man. And you nailed it too. Those are the hardest times. Like when you said, you're like, all right, I got 5 clients. Mm-hmm. Like, how do I get to 10? Are there even 5 more out there? Right? But you commit to it, and then before you know it, you got 100 plus, and you're rocking and rolling. Yeah. Awesome, man. I love it. Okay, let's pivot on that a little bit. Let's say if you could give one piece of advice to somebody who maybe is thinking about doing something kind of like you did, which is packing up, moving to a new city for a new opportunity, taking a pretty big risk there. What advice would you give them?
Honestly, I always tell people, just if you're gonna go to a new city, especially like you go to a city where you don't know anybody, you just got to be willing to understand that there's gonna be some lonely times in the beginning, because you're not gonna know people. But I really believe there are good people everywhere, and I've met that in Charleston. There's a lot of good people. It's as long as you put yourself out there, you'll meet people, you'll make friends, and when you're taking a risk on a career, if you believe, like I said, if you believe in yourself, I would tell that anyone that wants to go for something new, go for it. Like, if that's your passion, then go for it. But that's the biggest thing is, you got to be passionate about it. If you're just doing it just to do it, then why are you doing it, right? But if you're passionate and you think this is what you want to do with your life, then go for it, because you only get one. So
amen about having that passion, because those hard days are really hard if you're not even excited about what you're doing.
And nobody sees the hard. A lot of people don't see the behind the scenes, the hard work that goes into the daily grind, all the hours that you put in. Right? They have no idea that where you've been and how many hours you put in. But, they see the success. They don't see the failures.
Right.
So you got to be willing to fail. That's the biggest thing I tell anyone.
100%. And those hard days are going to happen either way, right? Whether you're excited about what you're doing or you're not, those hard days are going to come. So you might as well, like you said, be doing something you're passionate about.
Absolutely.
Dude, I love it, man. Great chat. Thank you so much for coming to hang out and teaching us all about pickleball and Crush Yard and what you guys are up to, and telling your story a little bit.
Thanks for having me on the podcast, Jeremy. This is awesome. It was a good time. I'm excited for you, your girlfriend, and everyone in Charleston to come to Crush Yard when we open. It's going to be a great place to come play pickleball, great place to eat, drink, and it's going to be a good place.
Amen. We're excited. Oh, actually, last question, because our whole team wants to come out, our Lively Charleston team. Do you guys corporate events, like that sort of thing?
I should have mentioned that. We have a great event coordinator, Maggie. So we'll be doing we do birthday parties, we do corporate events. You go to crushyard.com. You can go to crush.yard on Instagram. But on crushyard.com, you have all the info about how to book events and you do corporate events and everything.
All right, we might be first up. If somebody hasn't already booked we might be first up. Corporate event.
I love it.
Beautiful. Crushyard.com, crush.yard on Instagram. If they have any questions for you personally, where should they go?
If they have any questions for me personally, they can, the same thing, go to crushyard.com. You just email. I'll have business cards I will be handing out once facilities open to everyone. Then you can get in contact with my email. And then, we'll go from there. And if they need anything, I'm going to be there every day. So I'll always be available to Charleston.
Awesome, brother. Well, hey, cheers, man. We will look forward to seeing you out on the courts there once you guys open up.
I appreciate it, Jeremy. Thanks.
Awesome, man.
Hey y'all, that's a wrap on today's episode. Thanks so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to like or follow or subscribe, whatever platform you're on, just hit the button to make sure you don't miss any future episodes.
Yep, and please help us grow the channel by sharing it with someone else who might enjoy it as well. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.